Hello everyone, my name is Ivo and welcome to Cooking with the Koyas. Today I'd like to share with you my special version of tiramisu. In fact, I'm going to make it two ways. My traditional way, which as you know I like to use the giant lady fingers for the traditional way, even though Sayovardi cookies are the norm. I prefer the giant lady fingers because I think they give a little bit of a better taste. And as far as my special version of tiramisu, Biscotti. Yes, folks, we are going to use Biscotti. One day I was having my espresso, dipping my Biscotti, and I thought, what a perfect marriage. Why not use that Biscotti, which you're going to dip in espresso anyway, as part of a tiramisu? The results are magic. Let's get started right now. So the first thing we have to do, we need 5 large eggs, and we need to separate the eggs from the egg whites, the egg whites from the yolks. So, and when you do this, use either a metal bowl or a glass bowl. Stay away from plastic. Okay, so do our best here. There's one separated, egg whites in one bowl, yolk in the other. Let's keep going. Okay, so now that we have our whites and yolks separated, we're going to work on the yolks first. So with the yolks, we're going to add 3/4 cup of sugar. And I'm using brown sugar today. You could use brown or white. I prefer brown for the enhanced flavor. And we're also going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla. So 1 teaspoon of vanilla. In it goes. And if you use brown sugar like I am, just make sure it's packed in there, that there are no air pockets, because you want all of that 3/4 cup. Okay, now that that's in there, what we're going to do is blend this together until we form a ribbon tail. And of course, be sure to stop and scrape down the edges as you continue. Okay, let's check for our ribbon tail. We could check with the blender, but I'm going to show you this way because I'm going to scrape it at the same time. Just lift up the batter and it should fall and make a ribbon tail. See how it's falling as like a ribbon tail on there? And then eventually, as you notice, it will slowly mold back into the mixture. So we have our ribbon tail, that part is done. And now it's time to add our mascarpone cheese. You want to add anywhere from 450 to 500 grams. And this particular package is 475 grams. So it's right up the middle, which is perfect. So we're going to add that. Now, as you noticed, I'm going to be using different biscotti for this recipe, but one place I won't differ is mascarpone. You absolutely need to use mascarpone cheese if you're looking for the real deal tiramisu. Okay, and here comes our blender again. In we go, and let's get this. We're just basically going to blend it until it's all incorporated nicely. And again, you're going to want to scrape down the edges to make sure that everything gets incorporated. Okay, let's get the blender back again. Perfect. That only took a minute. Okay, let's pop out our blenders and let's add our whisker. In it goes. Remove our egg yolk mixture and let's bring our egg white mixture in. And now we want to whisk these until stiff peaks form. So it's starting to thicken up, but no stiff peak yet. See how the peak kind of folds over? So a little longer. That's looking pretty good. Let's see what happens when we lift up our whisk. Yes, hopefully you can see that. There's a stiff peak just pointing up right? And it's not falling down. So that's the consistency we want right there. Now, quite simply, very gently, we're going to take our egg whites and we are going to gently fold them into our egg yolk mixture so that it retains that nice airiness. So what you're going to do here is just keep folding it over and folding it over until all the egg white has been incorporated and we have one consistent color. So again, just very gently, just keep doing this. And in case you're wondering, to get those stiff peaks on that egg white, it took me about 5 minutes. Okay, let's get this all incorporated. As you can see, we're getting there, but we still see quite a bit of white. So I'm just going to keep folding. Now that is looking pretty good. I think we got it, folks, right there. That's our beautiful mixture ready to go. And in case I didn't mention it, this is a no-bake recipe, so it's very, very easy. And as you've seen how quick this came together. All right, that looks really good. All right, time to have some more fun and make a little more magic. I'm going to start with my special version, my new version of tiramisu. And what I have here is espresso coffee, cold. Okay, so I made it earlier, it's cold. And to that, I am going to add, now you want to add an ounce, which is about 2 tablespoons of brandy or cognac. And in my case today, and that's about, by the way, that's about 1 ounce. So I'm going to add 1 ounce, 2 tablespoons. I'm using a whiskey today, but it's a coffee flavored whiskey. So I'm upping it a notch there. But again, you don't need to do that. And of course, if you're making this for children, you just omit that step. It's no problem. Okay. There we go, we've mixed that in. And this is just black coffee. If you like your tiramisu to be sweeter, you can of course add sugar to it, but I'm not gonna do that. So we take our biscotti, and these are almond biscotti, and give them a good soak because they're hard and you want them to soften up. So we soak them in our espresso mixture, get them good and soaked. And then start to line the bottom of your container. So I'm going to go through these one by one, probably give them about a good 10 second soak, and line the complete bottom of this, this glass tray. Okay, and there we go. We have our 1 layer of biscotti on the bottom. And now, quite simply, we take our, look at this beautiful mixture. This mascarpone mixture, folks. And we're going to add a layer on top. And the thing is with this, I'm going to call my special version of tiramisu, we only do 1 layer. So it's just 1 layer of biscotti. What I found is two layers is a bit much for this special version. So all we're going to do is put a single layer on top. Oh, you know, a good 1/2 inch thick or so. And make sure all the biscotti are covered. Okay, and that looks really, really good. And now for the final touch, folks, we put a little bit of cocoa. We're going to take some cocoa and sprinkle cocoa all over the top. Cover the complete top of the tiramisu with your cocoa. And let's get that covered up nicely. Look at that, folks. There's some magic right there. One special, evil special version of tiramisu ready for the refrigerator. So I'm going to put this in the fridge, just let it set, and then later I'll come right back and we'll do the taste test. And in the meanwhile, I'm going to make my original tiramisu with the giant lady fingers. And for those, it's the exact same process, folks. I'm going to dip the biscuits and I'm going to make a layer. I'm going to put the mascarpone on top, put the cocoa on top, but I do 2 layers with these biscuits. That's the only difference. Okay, let's put this in the fridge and come back with the taste test. Now here's a taste test you knew for sure I wasn't going to miss. Okay, this is my original tiramisu. The one, as you can see there, has 2 layers. This is with the ladyfinger biscuits, the wide ones. So that's that one there. This one is the special that we put together with the Biscotti. So, single layer only, and it's been chilling, and I've been patiently waiting. I've got my espresso coffee. I want to dig in. So, when it comes to tiramisu, you don't need to give yourself a big, huge piece. That is a nice size right there. Okay. So there we have it, just a single layer tiramisu compared to my original with the double layer, okay? And now, the part I've been waiting for. And see how the fork just went right through because we soaked those biscottis for a good 10 seconds. They change from very hard and brittle to nice and soft and flavorful. What a fantastic combination right there. The biscotti I used is an almond biscotti. You could use the almond and pistachio, comes really good. You could mix it up, but I'll tell you what. And that mascarpone cheese, that's the ticket right there, folks, let me tell you. Oh, followed by a good espresso. This, folks, is an amazing dessert. It is easy to make, no bake, very little effort, but the results, folks, are amazing. Whether you make my original version, whether you make the original version or my new special version of tiramisu, I really hope you give this recipe a try. Comes together quickly, tastes amazing, you're gonna love it. I want to thank you for spending time in the kitchen with me on today's episode of Cooking with the Koyas. And as always, folks, until next time, buon appetito. I am thoroughly going to enjoy this coffee break. Perfect combination, folks. Perfect combination.